We're old school.
Really old school, yeah.
Battery cover. Yeah, Duracell. Procell.
The joke is you can't spell cheap without the AP, so.
That's true. So this is gonna pick me up on the floor down here?
No, it's good, yeah, it's good, thank you, I appreciate it.
Just give them your audio when you get it. From this.
Start with Becca.
Hi, Becca.
You are well known for traveling overseas and going to see your fans over there and building that fan base. So talk about the fact that this is a week when many of them pay to come this way to come see you and converge all in one place.
Well, somebody asked me why I do this festival a little bit earlier. It was kind of the answer to that, which is that, you know, I would say the fans, but I go to their towns. You know, we go all, we're not far from many of them by the time the year's up. So this is more about our town to me. This is more about Nashville for a weekend, about showing it off, showing everybody what a great place it is to come see us, the wild animals in their native habitat, and observe kind of what it's like to walk Broadway and go to the guitar store or go to, you know, go eat somewhere like Jack's Barbecue and go to the Opry or whatever. And that is to me the big thing, is being able to go and say, visit us here because you'll never forget it. And I think it's probably more impactful to someone from Ireland or Sweden or something, probably, that when they come here, because I've seen it when we play their countries. I mean, they're wearing chaps and holsters and stuff. Because they think that's what we wear. You know, it's like they're decked to the nines. They're like, it's Butch Cassidy. It's not even. And and then they come here and they probably put their chaps away at some point and realize maybe it's just the genes would be enough.
Lauren?
It seems like every time I turn around, you're doing something super awesome and presidential, and I'm so for that really long flight to Afghanistan. How tight are you and the president now? I mean, are you all texting every back and forth?
No, we're not texting. Hopefully he's busy doing way more important stuff than answering, like, what are you doing right now? What are you wearing? Yeah. No, it's like, it was the most surreal experience of my life to go through that. Really, the scariest part about it was when they gave us the briefing, which I won't go into much detail on, right before we boarded. A couple of Air Force colonels sort of talked to us about what to do, where to go in the event of if a missile gets launched into the camp, which is likely. Getting in a blast vehicle, I remember thinking, what? And they said, yeah, you'll have 20 seconds to get your blast vehicle. If it doesn't explode, you can get back out and keep singing. I was like, okay, let's go. But being able to look those guys in the eye, you know, one last time before they start bringing them home, hopefully soon, and say thanks and sing to them, to me was the coolest thing I'll ever do, as well as, you know, sleeping on Air Force One. That's pretty wild.
Did you get to bring the special guest from the soldier that you met?
He's here. I'm about to meet him. I met him there, but I'm about to see him here. He's, yeah, for everybody else that's wondering, in the line of people, there was one of the soldiers said, I'm going home next week. I'm going to be at CMA Fest. Can I say hi? And he's here. So I got his info, and I can see him again, which is bizarre. It's really going to be amazing to me to be able to see him in plain clothes, hopefully with his wife and happy and never going back.
All right, so you got the Rising Star coming up this summer. Tell me about, I'm wondering if there's any correlation you have between your gig doing live TV with the CMA Awards and this. Do you think all those years of doing the CMA Awards prepared you for?
Yeah, because Kesha and Carrie are the same. Exactly the same. It'll be just like that.
They've always reminded me.
They have, yeah. You know, Kesha's not got the foul mouth Carrie does in private. But No, it's, I think it's probably prepared me a little bit, you know. There's nothing more pressure-filled than that night for me when we work so hard on the monologue, and walk out there and try to deliver that. So this is a whole different thing. This is live. This is sudden death for someone that walks out with a guitar or with a track or whatever and sings, and they're going to know right away. I mean, the most horrifying experience I can compare it to is playing songs for Gary Overton. And he doesn't usually stop me halfway through them. I can't even imagine if it was like he was going to say, no, you know what, go home, son, you stink. And that's what some of these people are going to hear. And yet, at the same time, what I'm looking forward to is that person that walks out there and they're like, speaking of Carrie Underwood, they are Carrie Underwood or something. And it's like, okay, try to get that person all the way to the end so they get a record deal and America knows their name and buys their albums. I don't know, I'll bring to it some of the same mentality, but won't have as much time to rehearse anything. This is on the fly, so I'm sure I'll say some really dumb stuff and you'll write about it.
I just, if you could, maybe afterwards, if Darlene could give us this soldier's name and where he's from and all that. I don't know if you have that information.
You guys have it?
I got it.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Becca?
When we talked to you about your Wheelhouse album, there seemed to be a certain weightiness surrounding you, and
Yeah, oh yeah.
you were incredibly stressed out. And with this new one, I think Riverbank sort of indicates that it's a much lighter project in terms of the toll maybe it took on you in making it. Can you just talk about the contrast and what's to come?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. You know, this album, one of the first songs written was Riverbank, if not the first, really, first completed song. And I completed it January 14th, and I had this album completely written by the first week of April, so that tells you right there. And there's 14 tracks, 13 songs really. And, you know, this record is a completely different album. My thought process this time was, this should be easy to love. And I don't mean that in the sense that they're milquetoast or they don't say something, because they do. But if it says something, it should still be easy to love it, which is what I went for with this record. The other thing we did was build a bar in my house. And it's a full-blown saloon, pub, complete with neon signs, 4 taps, refrigerated lines. I mean, it's up and running, and it's better than ever. I want to have you guys out at some point. It would be great to have a press day where you can, I'll pour you a Guinness and you'll see I know what I'm doing. It'll be the best you've had in America, I promise. But to be able to go, if you build it, they will cut, was what it was. The band will show up and they will cut. And somebody asked, was that bad? Is that how good are they as musicians when they're drunk? It's like, they're great at that. They really have that down. This isn't, we would have made a terrible jazz record, but country music only gets better when they have a couple of drinks. And I think you hear that on the album. You hear the party nature of that. Some albums, like Wheelhouse, are meant to be cerebral. For me, it was about how can I push myself. This one was about how do we bring the party to my fans, as opposed to the other way around, where they sort of show up and throw me a party every time I play. It's like, well, let's bring one to them. And I decided to go in there with that mentality. And, and I tackle some topics here and there, but it's an overwhelmingly positive look at music and life. And I think you'll have a smile on your face when you're done listening to the whole thing.
One more question, Phyllis?
Hey.
Hi, I'm Rising Star. Are you planning to try out any of the lines that William Shatner used on you in your celebrity video?
Yeah, the end. I'll probably do that. Those are good. I'll probably have those ready. I like the end. When the song ends. No, when it ends, when you're finished. That's, yeah. I probably won't be that mean, but I'll definitely have to find creative ways to say that wasn't any good. Which is an interesting thing. It's a dilemma for me. But again, looking at the positive, trying to figure out, really looking at what somebody did right. Because the thing about this show is the talent should be just a notch above, because they really did, you know, you're not going to be watching this show to see a bunch of people that are sort of kind of a joke or something. These people are really good. They went through a screening process to get there. And then we're going to try and let America decide who the best one of those is. And I think you're going to wind up with not just one, but several household names before it's over with a record deal. That'd be my goal, because there's nothing more frustrating than seeing somebody with a lot of talent win one of these competition shows and then you never hear from them again. And hopefully between the three experts, as they call us, and then there's Josh Brogan, who's not an expert, hopefully we can help mentor them into that situation where they have a career from this. And the ones that shouldn't be there, well, I'll figure out how to tell them that.